Okay, I'd like to resume the February 10th, 2020 board meeting and welcome Hallie Furtak to the board table. And if everyone could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
The United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first item on the agenda is accent on achievement.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to invite all of our friends from South Elgin to come on up as we talk about your accomplishment. Yeah, you can join us up here. The board is recognizing the South Elgin High School Hot Rodders team tonight. With a time of 26 minutes, this team of students finished 10th in the nation in a competition in Indianapolis in December. It was the National Speed Equipment Manufacturing Trade Show in Las Vegas. And this teardown team consists of South Elgin High School seniors Andrew Clark, Casey Gabala, Dan Godinez, Jared Pena, as well as South Elgin High School juniors Hayden Shaw and Omar Quiros. And the team is mostly all here tonight with their coach, Steve Schertz, and former student, now coach, Leanne Driscoll. So we're very proud of you all. And I will let board member Owens read one of the certificates.
Thank you. So I have a number of certificates here. I'm going to read the one certificate and then I'll read off all of your names, okay? So the Certificate of Achievement, the Board of Education of School District U46 hereby recognizes the students of South Elgin High School for qualifying for the National Performance Racing Industry Trade Show at the National Speed Equipment Manufacturing Trade Show. Presented this 10th day of February 2020. Signed by Board President Sue Kerr and Chief Executive Officer Tony Sanders. And this goes to Hayden Shaw, Omar Quiros, Gerard Pena, there you go, Daniel Godinez, no, not here, okay. Casey Gabala, go, and Andrew Clark is not here. Okay, congratulations, everyone. Do you want to give us a rundown of how the competition went?
So what you see here, these students here represents the 10th in the country. It started in May of last school year where they competed in one of 13 regional events. Theirs was the 13th fastest qualifying out of 120 teams and 300 different separate runs. That qualified them in the top 40. They went to a dual championship, took 5th in Las Vegas, and ultimately placed 10th in the country. These students here also earned $5,000 scholarship for 3 separate technical colleges of their choice, and a great story to put on college applications and job resumes. So we're very proud of their accomplishment. They made great sacrifices of not being able to go out with friends, and some of them even skipped prom for our regional competition. And they worked for this position, and I'm pretty proud. This is one of our most successful teams in U46 and South Elgin High School. So thank you, guys.
Do a quick photo. Thank you. Thanks.
I almost forgot also, this would not be possible without our former U46 student, Leanne Driscoll. Since she went to Vegas in 2015, and since then she's come back and coached. And this is big part of the success is her accomplishments and her sacrifices also. So thank you, Leanne, separately.
Thank you.
Do you have any public comment cards?
So there are no public comment cards, I guess, tonight? That sound right? Okay, now we move on to other business, board member and CEO update. Anyone have updates? Tony?
It's not so much an update, rather than requesting board authorization, actually, not really even board authorization. We have a school maintenance project grant that is available to School District U46 to seek $50,000 in grant funds from the state of Illinois. That goes towards a project at Ridge Circle Elementary School that will be done either way. Board policy allows us, and an annual resolution of the board allows administration the ability to seek out these grants as they come available. However, this particular grant requires that the board president sign the application form, which is unique just to this one grant. We're going to ask the board president to sign that grant, but I want to make sure the board was aware that we're doing that pursuant to the resolution that you've given us authorization to seek these grants. Does that make sense? So is it okay if we go for $50,000? Okay.
Yes.
There.
All
You can sign that.
Okay. Anyone else? Veronica?
I just want to mention that about the HPLI and AAPLI training this last Saturday. They had the roundtable with the board members and the Q&A, and it's the 10-year. I think this is our 10th class.
Yeah.
So it was a great experience. I've done it before, and just appreciate that everybody was available. Mhm.
Yeah, it was great. I'd never done that before. So, yeah, it was really cool to go and see how excited they were and answer their questions. And
Two board members, John and Kate, we went to the Gail Borden Black History Festival on February 1st, and it was very nice, very well attended. Lots of cool jazz, too.
And five U46 students were acknowledged as future African-American leaders and awarded with scholarships, I believe, as well. So
yeah, they
cool
had
to see.
those interviews. They did just brief little video where the students answered a bunch of questions about themselves and their goals. It was very well done, and really exciting to see them get those scholarships.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I have to take a moment to congratulate our dancers. We had the U46 dancers who participated for the PADS Dance for the Homeless at the Winter Harvest Dance, and they did a phenomenal job. Not only did they do so well, they came in first place
Yes.
out of all the dancers. I know Miss Porter was there.
And they have moves.
Yeah. And so in honor of that, we're going to ask them to recreate it here for the audience tonight. And I'm getting head shaking. No, okay, we won't do that. But if you do want to see the video, it's out on Facebook and it's well worth a watch. And congratulations. I could tell you had a lot of fun, but you also raised, I think that our team raised close to $10,000, I believe, for PADS. It's my understanding, somewhere near there.
Just under $6,000.
That's what I
Just
can
under
see.
$6,000. Okay.
Great.
That awesome?
Cool. That's great. Good. Okay, the next item on the agenda are the board agreements, and you will recall that our board self-evaluation, we reviewed the agreements, and a copy was sent of the changes we made. I did verify, I went through my own notes, and I verified that was exactly what we did make. I think we bring these back to vote on them in another minute, a couple more meetings, or next meeting, but if anyone has any comments or corrections on the board agreements. The other thing I wanted to bring up was the next steps, and that was also in the letter that is copied on from IASB. We had a bunch of things we discussed for next steps. We find it. Basically, they seem to fall under three categories. One is to improve communications with the community, and we talked about different ideas we might pursue. Another had to do with the strategic plan, and the third thing had to do with orientation of new board members. Now, I had a couple of thoughts. One is as we work on the strategic plan, we could probably incorporate some of the suggestions and ideas we had talked about at that as we do work on the strategic plan, if that's okay with people. For improving communications, let me grab my notes here. We had talked about a number of different ideas, increasing public comment on various things such as the budget, having a board section in the annual report, contacting villages about having meetings. We meet with Carol Stream currently, or at least one board, I do, I know, as a board representative, maybe expanding that to other villages. Is this something we should think about having? We do have a committee on community relations. Is this something we should do at the committee level, discuss some ideas? Is that something, I think Kate and Veronica, you are the co-chairs of that committee. So thoughts, ideas,
To discuss.
sorry.
To discuss how we want to handle the idea of future orientation? Is that what you were saying? Or all of
Actually, how
them?
communication.
Or communication?
Yeah, so more the communication. I mean, I know you weren't able to make the self-evaluation,
No.
but we discussed a number of ideas, and I can type up my notes and get them out.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
would be
open
fine.
that.
That's a good place to put it. So
Thoughts, so maybe we can schedule the community, and I'll get some notes together and just to start, looking at some ideas.
And Kate, you were at the training, right?
you mean the evaluation on the 25th?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm saying the wrong word.
No, that's
So as long as someone's there, that was part of the original discussion.
yeah. I'll dig out my notes.
And then for the orientation for new board members, is that worth putting together something and then bringing it back to the board and discussing it? I know I want to talk with Donna since she's got the most.
I would do the same thing, do it under the committee that handles that section of policy.
Okay, that's a good idea. Yeah. So I'll have to check and see which committee.
New board members could definitely give some input to
Yeah.
that, yeah.
And I think it would also be a benefit maybe at the next Kaskaskia meeting if we have conversations with other board members about how they do their orientation cycle. I'm sure we could learn from other board members from other communities
Sure.
about how they do their orientation.
Sure.
Now, was the public, there's a link in here with the publication from IASB. Was that discussed at all as a tool?
I think they were going to provide us with that link. They had mentioned it during, we didn't go into it at the
Oh, okay.
self-evaluation.
So that's something that committee can also look at.
Right, yeah.
And which committee would it be?
I'm trying to figure that out.
Oh.
So my current thing doesn't have the board, hold it does, that'd be 2. So it'd be legislation, actually.
Legislation
Yeah.
for new board member?
It's, that's, section 2 is under school board. Okay,
I don't think there's a lot to do. I think we got a couple of ideas.
okay.
We're just formalizing something.
Right.
Oh, we could do an ad hoc committee. Yeah, committee of the whole, whatever. Yeah. So. All right, I will pursue this and then we could set up meeting dates for the committees. Any other comments on the board agreements and the letter from the IASB?
Did you want to mention, I know that we're working on putting together a presentation for this upcoming III. I don't know if you wanted to make the rest of the board aware. I know you had mentioned it to me.
Right.
We've not done one for several years, but we're going to put one in for the board superintendent relation piece and the evaluation of the CEO. That
yeah.
I think is what they said was a pretty good exemplar process from IASB, so they thought we should share it out.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. All right. FOIA requests.
There's one Freedom of Information Act request that's before the board tonight and publicly available on board docs. This will also be placed on the district's website in the coming week. I'm available to answer any questions.
Any questions? Okay, moving on. Consent agenda, Mr. Sanders.
On the consent agenda, we have personnel report and workers' compensation cases, minutes of the board meeting, January 27th, 2020, termination of Indina Caballero, bus driver, a bid from School Safety and Culture for two-way radio purchase, proposal from Plant Operations for the lease of modular unit for Pathways Construction, proposal from Plant Operations for annual fire alarm testing services, a change order from Plant Operations for Sycamore Trails Elementary School paving project number 1477, a change order from Plant Operations for Nature Ridge Elementary School paving project number 1225, and finally building permits. There are 6 of them, including Bartlett Elementary fire alarm, Channing window replacement, Hanover Countryside fire alarm, Larson Middle School HVAC access above gym, South Elgin High School Beacon Academy, and finally Sycamore Trails fire alarm.
Are there any items that board members would like removed from the consent agenda? Okay, hearing none, could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Devereaux,
Yes.
Ms. Nolan,
Yes.
Ms. Owens.
Yes.
Ms. Porter,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas.
Yes.
Madam President,
Yes.
approved 7-0.
Discussion action, Mr. Sanders.
The first item under discussion action are itemized bills for February 10th, 2020. Mr. Burnage is joined to answer any board questions. Administration recommends the Board of Education approve the list of bills in the amount of $5,911,499.68.
Could I have a motion to approve the list of bills in the amount of $5,911,499.68?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Ms. Nolan,
Yes.
Ms. Owens.
Yes.
Mrs. Porter,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Devereaux.
Yes.
Madam President,
Yes.
approved 7-0.
Our next item are 2020-2021 school fees. Dr. King presented these at the last board meeting as a work session items. They return tonight under discussion action for final board approval. Administration recommends the Board of Education adopt the 2020-2021 school fees, and either Dr. King or I can answer any board questions.
Could I have a motion to adopt the 2020-2021 school fees?
So move.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Owens,
Yes.
Mrs. Porter,
Yes.
Mrs. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas.
Yes.
Mr. Devereaux,
Yes.
Ms. Nolan.
Yes.
Madam President,
Yes.
approved 7-0.
Our next item is a proposal from Plan Operations for the Facility Master Plan. Dr. King is here, as well as Mr. Phelps, to answer any board questions, and Sheila Downs will also join. This was on the last work session, at the last work session of the Board of Education, and comes back tonight under discussion action for final approval. You'll note that we did have the request to attach the original proposal, or the first PowerPoint that was presented, to the group that included 2 board members. And with that, administration recommends the Board of Education approve the Facility Master Plan.
Could I have a motion to approve the Facility Master Plan?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Porter,
Yes.
Mrs. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Devereaux,
Yes.
Ms. Nolan,
Yes.
Ms. Owens.
Yes.
Madam President,
Yes.
approved 7-0.
Thank you all very much, and thank you for all the work that went into soliciting different firms and finally coming forward with the proposal.
Just started.
Okay, thank you in advance for all the work that's coming. Our next is a discussion action item is a notice to remedy for Teacher B. The matter before the board is whether or not to approve the notice to remedy for Teacher B, Amy Prassel. Administration recommends the Board of Education approve the notice to remedy for Amy Prassel.
Could I have a motion to approve the notice to remedy for Teacher B, Amy Prassel?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments, discussion, questions? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Devereaux,
Yes.
Ms. Nolan,
Yes.
Ms. Owens.
Yes.
Mrs. Porter,
Yes.
Madam President,
Yes.
approved 7-0.
CAC update. I don't see CAC here tonight. Okay. Other business, student disciplinary cases, Mr. Sanders.
Before the board is the matter of student G. Administration recommends the Board of Education expel student G for the term of 2 calendar years to conclude on February 9th, 2022. While serving the expulsion, student G will have the opportunity to enroll in an alternative education program.
Could I have a motion to approve the expulsion of student G for the term of 2 calendar years to conclude on February 9th, 2022? While serving the expulsion, student G will have the opportunity to enroll in an alternative education program.
So moved.
Second.
That was done. Okay.
Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Devereaux?
Yes.
Ms. Nolan?
Yes.
Ms. Owens?
Yes.
Ms. Porter?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Madam President?
Yes.
Approved 7-0.
Okay, work session, resolutions.
Under work session resolutions, the first is a resolution abating a portion of the tax heretofore levied for 2019 to pay debt service on the 66 million school bond series 2003B of school district number 46, Kane, Cook, and DuPage Counties, Illinois. Dr. King is here available to answer any board questions, but essentially this is the resolution we bring forward annually to the extent possible, try to keep property taxes a little bit lower. So Dr. King.
So this is the 5th year that we will have abated. The total abatement over that 5-year period is over $29 million that we've abated in taxes. This is the 2nd year that the amount will be just over $9 million. From 16 through 18, we were slowly growing the abatement amount. Last year and the abatement for this upcoming year will be the numbers will be identical.
Does anyone have any questions? Okay, thank you.
Our next work session items are contracts over $25,000. The first is a contract renewal from Plant Operations for Train Preventative Maintenance Agreement. Here to present is Bruce Phelps, Senior Business Official of Business Services, and Sheila Downs, Director of Plant Operations. Administration recommends the Board of Education approve the contract renewal with Train Chicago in the amount of $1,846,680 and requests authorization for district administration to execute related documents. This expenditure will be charged to the Operation and Maintenance Fund and is included in the budgets for the 2019-2020, 2020-2021, and 2021-2022 fiscal years. That's a tongue twister.
Does anyone have any questions or comments? I want to thank you for answering my question that I had submitted about, it is a big jump from the last 3-year contract, but there's more covered under it.
It is.
And we had actually spent money on things that weren't covered. So this sounds like a good deal. So
Correct. Because we went above and beyond our service contract quite frequently. And so we actually embedded things that we know will come up into the contract, which should result in an overall savings.
thank you. Melissa?
So pursuant to Ms. Kerr's question about the additional work that's on here, one of the responses was there's an additional 26 days of on-site automation support annually, so we can just pivot that support to wherever it's needed then?
Yes.
So how many non-emergency service calls do you think we had last year or through the life of the contract?
I can get that information
Okay.
for you. I don't know offhand.
Okay, but it'll be a substantial savings over the 40,000 that's baked into the new
Yes,
contract?
absolutely. We
Okay.
definitely exceeded that number of 26 days.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Thank you for the visuals.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
We're going to move on.
Yes.
Okay, our next are work session items that are bids and proposals. The first is a bid from Plant Operations for Streamwood High School gym floor and bleacher replacement project number 313. Administration recommends award of the low bid meeting specifications to Hap Builders, Inc. in the amount of $246,000 and requests authorization for district administration to execute related documents. The expenditure will be charged to the Operation Maintenance Fund and is in the budget.
Any questions? Okay, next.
Our next is a bid from Plant Operations for Larkin Middle School Phase 1 Gymnasium Renovation, project number 505. Administration recommends approval of the low bid meeting specification to Northwest Contractors, Inc. in the amount of $406,000 and requests authorization for district administration to execute related documents. This expenditure will be charged to the Operation Maintenance Fund and the cost is included in the budget for the 2019-2020 school year.
Any questions? Melissa?
Do we have any insight as to why there were 5 intended bids that never came through? on that? I mean, there's just the one bid.
Some of them can be subcontractors that are actually pulling the bid to see what general contractors have pulled.
Okay.
So we're just registering how many vendors have actually pulled the bid from the site.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Our next is a bid from Plant Operations for Elgin High School Domestic Water Piping Replacement Phase 3 Asbestos Abatement, Project Number 238. Administration recommends award of the low bid meeting specifications to Holian Asbestos Removal in the amount of $74,000 and requests authorization for district administration to execute related documents. This expenditure will be charged to the Operation Maintenance Fund and is included in the budget.
Any questions? Melissa?
So, and this just along with the following two proposals in here, especially on this one, there's a wide range between the bid numbers, right? The low bid was 74,000, the high bid was 341,000, almost 342,000. But again, we're qualifying these bidders, so we're comfortable with the level of work that they're going to be able to do on this, correct?
We are. Holian actually does a lot of work with the district. They actually were the vendor who was awarded last year.
Mhm.
So their bid is probably the most accurate because they've been down this road with us already before. However, we verified just because there was such a discrepancy, and they did verify that their bid is accurate.
Okay, thank you.
I'd point out that the variation in all of these, it's the same contractors in each one, and sometimes one is higher, one is lower.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if that says something about them not understanding the scope of the jobs, but obviously we get a nice spread and we're able to select, which is net a good thing. So
Yeah, during the bidding process, we have a pre-meeting where they can go through the building. They're required to be at the pre-bid meeting. They walk through the building so that the staff is showing them what the entails in the work, so they can physically also see it.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Okay, our next is a bid from Plant Operations for Larkin High School Pathways Asbestos Abatement Project Number 268. Administration recommends award of the low bid meeting specifications to NES Environmental in the amount of $45,400 and requests authorization for district administration to execute related documents. This expenditure will be charged to the Operation and Maintenance Fund and is included in the budget.
Any questions?
Our next is a bid from Plant Operations for Larson Middle School HVAC access above the gymnasium asbestos abatement, project number 503. Administration recommends award of the low bid meeting specifications to EHC Industries, Inc. in the amount of $78,880 and requests authorization for district administration to execute related documents. This expenditure will be charged to the Operation and Maintenance Fund and is included in the budget.
Are there any questions? And in this case, Holian was about twice as much as the winning bidder. Have we had any experience with the company that won the bid?
Yes, we have. We've
Okay.
done a lot of work with EHC. This one is kind of more complicated only because there is a ceiling above the ceiling at the Larson gym. And so a lot of them were speculating the full scope. However, once again, we verified with the contractor and we're confident in their bid.
Okay, thanks.
Our next is
Go ahead.
okay. The next is a bid from Plant Operations for Washington and Lowry Elementary Schools classroom wood floor sanding and refinishing. Administration recommends award of the low bid meeting specifications to Veterans Floor Inc. in the amount of $28,400 for Lowry and $32,820 for Washington Elementary and requests authorization for district administration to execute related documents. This expenditure will be charged to the Operation and Maintenance Fund and will be included in the budget for the 1920 school year.
Any questions? Melissa?
So I get the fact that there's an aesthetic quality to having these wood floors, but obviously along with having those wood floors, they have to be refinished at some point. Is there ever been any consideration of replacing those floors, or has that ever been costed out?
Yeah, so we've discussed it. Eventually, we will have to replace them. Right now, they can be can be saved. And there is an aesthetic quality. Obviously, they're part of the culture of those buildings. They also have fireplaces. So we are trying to salvage them as long as possible, but the day will come. This is probably the last time that we do a full refinishing of those spaces. But that is why one of the companies elected not to bid on 2 of the rooms, because they recommended that this is probably the last go round. And so we agree. But just because of the quality of those floors and the spaces overall, we thought that it was advantageous to do it again, do it at least once more. But realistically, it would have been more expensive to completely gut those spaces and to lay completely new flooring.
Right. Okay.
And we actually found the floors, at least at Washington, whenever they were going in to remove tiles that had previously existed. And when they pulled them up, they saw they had the wood floor underneath there and tried to refinish them. So we actually saved money that go around because we didn't have to replace the floor. We saved the money of not replacing it then.
Okay.
So, and they are beautiful.
They are.
You've been there, you've seen them. They're beautiful floors.
Well, I smile when you said the fireplaces because I work over at the Franklin School Building and
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
we have the fireplaces too. So yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, next.
Our next is a bid from Plant Operations for Streamwood High School paint removal second floor using chemical stripper, project number 68. Administration recommends award of the low bid meeting specification to Celtic Environmental Company in the amount of $235,000 and requests an authorization for district administration to execute related documents. This expenditure will be charged to the Operations and Maintenance Fund, and the cost is included in the budget for the 2019-2020 school year.
Any questions? And last year we did the 3rd floor,
Correct.
so we're moving down.
Yes,
Okay.
Is this, Sue? And
Yes.
is this expected to take the whole summer again like last year?
it will.
Okay.
And so phase 3 will be first floor?
That is the plan.
That's
We're
the
just
plan.
going to
Well,
have
of course, we
to.
haven't done the capital projects for next year yet. but-
Correct. But yes, we're phasing it in.
All right. And this does not incorporate classroom spaces yet, correct?
does
It's just
not.
the hallways, right?
No,
Or the
we have.
common spaces, I should say.
Correct. We did stairwells, bathrooms, and then the hallways, and then the lockers as well. But we have not journeyed inside of the classrooms yet.
But the building will be unusable for the summer, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
All right, our next is a bid from Plant Operations for 1019 East Chicago Street, interior build-out Phase 2, project number 2054. Also joining for this conversation is Jeff King. Administration recommends award of the low bid meeting specifications to Troop Contracting, Inc. in the amount of $6,756,240 and requests authorization for district administration to execute related documents. This expenditure will be charged to the Operation Maintenance Fund and is included in the budget for the 2019-2020 fiscal year.
are there any questions? Melissa?
Are we still looking at putting the welcome center in that building eventually? Are we looking at moving the welcome center, I should say, over to that building?
Yes, that is still the plan, but that will be in the 3rd phase.
Okay.
This is really to get the mechanicals done, fix some of the faults with the building, and get transportation in there. And then the 3rd phase, what we'd like to do is a lot of our customer-facing programs and spaces in this building, put in that building, so there's it's more customer-friendly environment. There's places for people to park. So yes, I mean, district records would be another one. Our testing program for preschool that's here. The folks we have in the fire department over by the old fire building in front of Larkin. So we'd like to consolidate all of them customer-facing programs into that location because we think it'll be a more friendly environment for our customers,
Yeah.
parents, et cetera.
When do we anticipate
That one.
getting into that phase with next year?
Yeah, so we've started preliminarily designing, just very, very loosely. And so the funds will be allocated in the next fiscal year. Because that building primarily will be vacant, we can start anytime after July 1. So it'll
Okay.
really be just getting the design, the bidding process completed, and then we could move forward.
Okay, thank you.
If I may mention one other thing, is we're also building into the 3rd phase large meeting spaces so we can get some of the meetings out of this building. Because on days there's principal meetings here, most of us park 3 to 4 blocks away. You experience it because you work in the area, but we're going to build them in as well so we can push some of those things out into that building where there's more ample parking.
Okay.
That's a good idea. When will transportation begin having buses over there?
Well, their goal is to move in July, I believe, right
Okay,
now.
okay,
So we'll probably start shifting equipment during the summer over there,
okay,
all the small bus equipment.
okay.
And then we'll restripe the main facility so the employees can go back to parking at the facility.
Great, okay, good, thanks. All right, next.
Sheila, I think that brings all of your items to a close, correct?
I'll be back. for
You'll be
change
back. Oh, that's
orders.
right. Change orders. That's right. That's right. Well, I'm sure we'll have lots of questions about those. So Laura Macias will join for the next few items. The next is a bid from Information Services for E-rate program network switch purchase. Administration recommends award of the low bid meeting specifications to Sentinel Technologies in the amount of $324,539 and requests authorization for district administration to execute related documents. This expenditure will be charged to the educational fund and is included in the budget.
Are there any questions?
Yeah.
Yes,
Can you
go
just
ahead.
refresh us on the E-rate mechanism?
Yes, so we decided that we have two different ways. So what we do, we pay for it, and they give us back 80% of it. USAC, the government.
Okay.
Yes.
It's a
So
government fund
it's
that basically
it is-
subsidizes our
Yes.
costs on
Yeah.
correct by the
this and next
FCC.
two. Okay.
So it's the fees that we pay, right? I mean, it's a lot of it's the fees we pay whenever we do our cellular service and things like that customers pay that go into the fund.
Correct.
The cellular service will no longer be applied to that.
Okay.
When we bid this out the next time, the cell phones won't apply to it, but the rest
Okay.
of the stuff that Laura does will.
Right.
But the money comes from exactly the taxes.
Right. That's where the
that-
funds come from,
Yeah,
right?
the funds come
Funds
from
come from
there, and the FCC regulates this to provide more connectivity to the schools. So they pay 80% of all the projects that could qualify as an E-rate.
Good. So just again, to sort of note, when we're approving this, we're also acknowledging that we'll likely get reimbursed for up to 80% of each of these.
Correct.
next
Correct. So
items.
far, we have
Yeah.
received all of them.
Great, thanks.
All right, next item.
The next is a bid from Information Services for E-rate program wireless access point purchase. Administration recommends award of the low bid meeting specifications to Sentinel Technologies in the amount of $368,182.83 and requests authorization for district administration to execute related documents. This expenditure will be charged to the educational fund and is in the budget.
Any questions?
Our next is a bid from Information Services for E-rate program uninterruptible power supply purchase. Administration recommends award of the low bid meeting specification to Applied Communications Group in the amount of $262,354 and requests authorization for district administration to execute related documents. This expenditure will be charged to the educational fund and is included in the budget.
Are there any questions? Okay,
Our next is a proposal from Information Services for storage area network maintenance renewal. Administration recommends approval of the proposal from Storecom in the amount of $56,695 and requests authorization for district administration to execute related documents. This expenditure will be charged to the educational fund and is in the budget.
any questions?
Our next item, Dr. Latrice Satterwhite will be joining for the presentation. Administration recommends approval, it's a proposal from Information Services for specialized student services technology purchase. Administration recommends approval of the proposal from Dell EMC for 30 interactive boards and PACE systems for 30 interactive board stands in the amounts of $67,500 and $39,000 respectively, for a total of $106,500, and requests authorization for district administration to execute related documents. This expenditure will be charged to the IDEA Part B flow-through fund. The cost is included in the budget for the 2019-2020 fiscal year.
Are there any questions?
Great. Finally, we have work session change orders. Sheila Downs returns once again. The first one is a change order from Plant Operations for library renovations at Bartlett High School, number 2034, Larkin High School, number 2035, and South Elgin High School, number 2036. Administration recommends the Board of Education approve the change order with Hargrave Builders in the amount of minus $159,296.88. This credit will be applied to the Operation and Maintenance Fund.
Are there any questions? Okay. And Les?
And finally, we have a change order from Plant Operations for Teff Middle School chiller replacement, project number 529. Administration recommends the board approve the change order with Mechanical Services Associates Corporation in the amount of minus $43,997.02. This credit will be applied to the Operation and Maintenance Fund.
Are there any questions? All right, and since that is the last item on the agenda, could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Devereaux?
Yes.
Ms. Nolan?
Yes.
Ms. Owens?
Yes.
Mrs. Porter?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Madam President,
Yes.
we are adjourned.